Hi there and welcome to this video series. My name is Emily. I am the Growth Marketing Manager for Powell Teams here at Powell Software. In this episode of Tackling Microsoft Teams, we will look at inactive teams in Microsoft Teams. But first, let me start with sharing a quick stat with you. As you might know, Microsoft Teams is used by more than 270 million users who create teams every day. On average today, 60% of teams in Microsoft Teams are inactive. You'll ask, but what's the issue here? Well, I would like to welcome Anthony McGuinness, our Senior Pre-Sales at Powell Software, who will answer you that question.
Thanks, Emily. I really appreciate it. Yeah, when you start thinking of just management and full on, your ecosystem with Microsoft Teams, typically you come around these three main problems. One, how do you control what's going on in your Microsoft Teams environment? How do you place the proper security measures throughout? And then most paramount, how do you actually manage those without creating a large burden on your IT team or whoever may be managing that space? I think the main focus is looking at streamlining that ability, putting an automation in, and having relevant data that allows you to really understand what your environment looks like and how you can take action to fix that. One question you may ask yourself is, what exactly is an active team? So when a team's created, it usually has a function or purpose. When that function is fully done, many times these teams are not actually removed from the environment, they're just no longer used. This can cause issues with data, proprietary or whatever it may be in your environment that shouldn't be there, should be archived or set aside, having a lot of different teams out there and not really understanding how many teams are actually being used versus how many teams are you have. Many times we see environments that may have thousands and thousands of teams, but only have maybe 1,000 or so, or maybe 30-40% of those actually being actively used. This is an important space to understand that so you can manage them and start to impart that governance, that compliance, and any other standardizations you may have in place as an organization to make sure that everything is following proper compliance measures.
Thank you, Anthony. Now that we have a clear idea of what an inactive team is and what the problems are of not setting up a good governance, can you explain how IT leaders can avoid these scenarios?
What we're going to be showing here is our solution, Powell Teams. Powell Teams is going to allow you to put in the proper lines of governance using our templates and tag system, as well as have a simplified and facilitated management system and UI on the background that fully is embedded in Powell Teams and Microsoft Teams. As an example here, you're actually able to set an expiration date, which is very important for teams, where you can set that to anything based on the template and make sure that those teams are automatically archived based on the parameters. Powell Teams opens up the ability to get a full tenant health overview of what your Microsoft Teams environment looks like. We pull things down like your current inactive teams, teams with guests, teams that are inactive with guests, teams without owners, as well as what your typical ratio for teams and users are. This is all valuable data that you'll be able to hand off to leadership as well as use and aggregate to create a better understanding of what your environment looks like. Not only will we be able to report that, you'll be able to take actionable steps based on that information you have using either our bots, our automations, or other steps built into the system. Powell Teams will allow you to actually take a lot of these steps within our built-in UI in Microsoft Teams, but we also give you a full automated space. You can use our automations that can be attached to any template or tag, as well as use our bot system. You can see an example of that here with the card that is simply showing that a team has become inactive. We have many use cases for our bot system, including this with inactive teams. We also have privacy, the ability to approve different team creation, and many other options that you can choose. So you have a lot of flexibility and you can make the work a lot easier so that there isn't such a high burden for your IT team to be able to have to go through and actually not only find the information, but then act on it and remediate throughout.
Powell Teams seems to be a great tool for IT teams. Anthony, in short, can you highlight the benefits of Powell Teams?
Absolutely. I think that there's a lot of things that Powell Teams does to help out any IT administrator as well as the employees within the organization. You can see 3 listed here, but really let's break those down. The ability to limit the amount of teams that are being created and make sure they're impactful and useful for the organization. We like to call that sprawl. Reducing the actual number of teams that are in your environment. So you may have thousands of teams, but are those being used? How many are inactive? How many can we remove? And let's start putting processes to be able to take action based on that. And that also helps your end users because it's nice to not have 50, 60 teams that you're scrolling through to get to the team that you need, just the ones that are impactful and you're actually using it instead of asking your employees to always have to take on that process of archiving, deleting, and basically doing cleaning throughout the whole process of using Microsoft Teams and Powell Teams. So when it all comes together, it's creating that more seamless environment where everybody's able to work in a more impactful light, as well as making sure that you don't bring on a large amount of work to your IT administrators or anybody else who would be managing the environment.
Thank you very much, Anthony. Now we know how to avoid the pitfall of these inactive teams within Microsoft Teams and how Power Teams can help us save time. If you are watching this video as an IT administrator, or you just would like to know a bit more of your team's environment, we invite you to watch our other videos in the same series, or to contact us for a personalized health check of your environment. Thank you. See you in the next video.